Hello, I'm Tom Bailey, and in today's episode, I'll be getting to know Zamil Solanki, who works with health entrepreneurs to help them overcome unique challenges and achieve their goals through curated training programs and bespoke holistic solutions. So, Zamil, hello, and a very warm welcome to today's episode.
Tom, great to be here, mate.
Thanks so much, and I detect that's how you're in the world right now.
So yeah, I'm based in Brisbane, in Australia. So yeah, hence the tan. Whereas Tom, I'm sure you know in the UK, sometimes you're probably a bit envious of all the sunshine we get. But
Absolutely.
yeah, in Australia.
Fantastic, and we're at the opposite ends of the clock face, I think, right now. So
That's it. That's it.
Thanks for that. And I just want to share just a little bit more about you before we do get started. So Zamil and his business have using their approaches, and they focus on the 5 key pillars of mindset, planning, leadership, marketing, and sales, and specialize in workflow, innovation, automation, and systems. The title for today's episode is How to Cultivate a Winning Health Business, and Zamil is going to show us how to do that in just 7 minutes. So good luck. Question number 1 today is, who are your ideal clients?
Yeah, so Tom, I work with a diverse range of businesses from small to medium businesses, so such as your local pharmacy, your local community pharmacy, all the way to multinational companies such as Becton Dixon. You might know them if you've had a COVID jab, and they are the company that actually supply the consumables.
Got it.
As to what gives it. So yeah, pretty much anybody that is looking to grow their business, but also tackle unique challenges within their own area of the healthcare industry, but also to innovate and create something special as well that really impact local communities all over the world.
Perfect. And you talked about those challenges. What would you say is some of the biggest challenges that or in fact, the biggest challenge that your clients typically face before they work with you?
So I think a lot of the time when I do have a chat with a client, they present to me with a specific issue that they believe is the problem within their business. And what I've found is when we start to deep dive and explore what that issue is actually a symptom of a whole nother raft of issues that are actually within the business. And as a result of that, if we were just to address that, the presented symptom or the issue that they thought was the problem at the start, would find that we're really band-aiding the actual problem and not treating the actual real core issue. So I would have to say that's probably the biggest challenge they face, is that awareness around what is actually wrong or what are the challenges within their business.
Yeah, I think someone told me the other day about businesses focusing on the squeaky wheel, you know, the problem that's making the biggest noise, but it might not necessarily be the biggest problem. So it's being able to have that awareness to really focus in on that.
Yeah, definitely.
So I guess if you don't know what your biggest challenge is, and you know, it's hard to identify that, what impact can that have on them or their business?
Well, I think it comes down to, as you sort of mentioned, Tom, it's, you know, we focus so much on that squeaky wheel and we kind of ignore and park aside what might be the actual problem. And as a result of that, we invest time, we invest energy, we invest money into addressing that squeaky wheel. Whereas in fact, it was maybe the handlebar that was actually causing the problem to start with.
Yeah.
And as a result, we lose time. We then focus on things that don't really serve us. And as a result of that, we're not really getting the outcomes that we want. And at the end of the day, we do all this work and for maybe temporary solutions. So I would have to say that's probably the biggest impact.
Great. And sometimes you need that outside perspective to help you really find what that challenge is, because you're so stuck in the weeds in your own business. So what would you say then is the most valuable piece of advice that you can give to somebody to really help them get started in solving this for their business?
I think firstly, it comes down to asking for help and being not afraid to actually ask for help. You know, at the end of the day, as health entrepreneurs, you know, we are quite altruistic naturally, and we want to help others. And we don't necessarily seek the help for ourselves until it's too late. And so that would probably be the biggest piece of advice. And once you get that help, once you actually find a resource that helps you, it's about taking on board that information and actually utilizing and implementing it. Because at the end of the day, we can offer all of the tools, resources, knowledge that we have available to us. but does it just become shelf help and it just sits on the shelf, or do you actually then implement it and utilize that information? And so that's probably my biggest piece of advice. Seek help, and then once you've found it, utilize it.
Great. And I'm sure you can give people lots of help. So where can you point people to give them maybe a valuable resource or a source of information that they can help with solving their problems?
Yeah, so each weekday morning, I run an episode, a live stream on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube called Tea with Z. And we deep dive into various topics based on those 5 pillars that you mentioned, Tom, at the start. And really, I guess, about topical things. Yeah, so that's probably a great resource. You can just literally search in Facebook or on YouTube or on LinkedIn, Tea with Z, so Z-E-E. And also joining the Limitless Network, which is a group of like-minded people that value health on Facebook.
Great. I love it. Tea with Z sounds fantastic. And what I'll do is I'll share all of those links in the show notes so people can click on them and they can dive right in.
Yeah, awesome.
Thinking
Thanks.
about yourself, your own business, your own journey, what would you say is one of your greatest either failures that you've made, either in life or business, and what did you learn from it?
Yeah, I think that's a big question, because at the end of the day, 35 years old, and there's been plenty of failures along the way. But the biggest one probably to me was, and what was standing in my way, was holding on to these beliefs and these stories and this coding that had come about from my family, some parts of my upbringing, and also some part of relationships that I've had that weren't serving me, that weren't doing me any good. And until I got and heard a speech from Peter Crone, who's also known as the mind architect. And his quote was, "What happened, happened, and couldn't have happened in any other way because it didn't." And essentially that means that I'm right where I need to be right now. And that's it. That's it. Whatever happened, happened for a reason, and it's done. And that just changed my life. So that was probably the biggest thing.
I love that. And mindset is critical for business owners, entrepreneurs. So yeah, great place to start. Thank you so much. And the last question today is, what is the one question that I should have asked you but didn't, that will also bring some great value to our audience?
Well, I think you've kind of answered it as well, but probably my answer to my question would be, well, when working with others on and in their business, what's the one thing that consistently stands in their way to achieving their goals? And to me, it's the foundational pillar of mindset,
Yeah, got it. Got it. And I guess for the business owner listening that resonates with that and thinks, do you know what, it is my mindset that's stopping me, what should they do? What do you think they should do?
I think firstly, one is, it goes back to that initial point of, don't be afraid to ask for help, and even having that conversation to start with.
Got it.
Because at the end of the day, you can have this self-talk, self-dialogue, and try to work through your mindset in your own mind. But the best way to work, in my opinion, on your mindset is to verbalize it, is to start talking about what you're thinking, so then others can support and guide you, and pick up on even the type of language that you're using, the type of self-talk, the beliefs, the coding, the stories that have, I guess, bogged your mind, and really start to unpack the source of that, and really, I guess, plan the ways forward.
Yeah, amazing. Love it. Great advice. So Zamil, or Z, thanks so much again for your time today and for sharing such great value with our audience.
Awesome, Tom, mate. Pleasure to be here.